Welcome to another episode of Champagne Dreams. I'm your host, Stephanie, along with my friend
Darryl, Dwayne. Hey.
What's going on, Darryl? I like these little tropical vibes you got going on.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep up with your island
Got
bun.
my
I see, yeah, I didn't even know, again, not planning this, but I think we both were ready for our island vacation. I feel like quarantine has all of us ready to like break loose.
yes. Yeah, more like an island staycation. Like we ain't going nowhere.
But that's an idea. Like maybe we should do like bring the island into the living room, right? Maybe I don't. Like,
It ain't the same. Like we've been in the living room since March, okay?
Point on play.
Yeah.
Well, it's been
But
easy, right? This timeline.
mm,
Yeah.
it's been a week, but somebody did go on a little island vacation. Drake. So saw some pictures circulating around on the internet with him in Barbados. You
Mm-hmm.
already know who's from Barbados, right?
I do. I had to pull up my glass
Riri.
because it's one of my favorites.
And he was spotted hanging out with her brother. So the internet like was going a little crazy, like, are they like rekindling during the quarantine? You know, her and her billionaire boo broke up. We already know Drake is always with, I don't know, maybe random joints. He had a baby. Maybe he's chilled out a little bit now. But yeah, so he's out hanging out in Barbados right now. I wonder if they're like working on some music or working on some
Well,
other
I mean,
things.
they make great music.
They do.
Yeah, like I can't even be mad at it. Like, I mean, I hope because everybody's been waiting for that magical album of hers to drop, which we already know it's gonna
Hmm.
be lit. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure they make other magical things as well.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, I mean, if y'all ever want to make an OnlyFans page, I mean, I'm sure the
Daryl wants to
subscription.
see Drake and Rihanna.
I'd be the first to subscribe, but like,
Okay.
I'm just putting it out there for clarity. So
Oh my gosh.
but no, real talk. Like I think that they're dynamite together. I just don't know about the dating part. I feel like it's always like a love hate situation. Like one minute they're
Mm.
like super in love, the next minute it's like lose my number, we're no
Just
longer
can't let
friends.
each other go.
Yeah, but maybe it's a maturing thing too. Maybe it's one of those things where both
Hmm.
parties have to mature. We learned this from the Red Table Talk that, that in order to avoid entanglements, both parties have to be in the right mind space, and both be ready to affirm who and what they are to each other in a relationship. So maybe
This
that's
is
what they're
true.
working. Maybe
Okay.
he
Speak
gonna
your
propose.
piece.
Maybe that's part of the album. Like she gonna do a Beyonce and they gonna be like married and she gonna drop an album and a
Oh
baby.
my
I
gosh.
mean,
I think, okay, wait. I think you're asking
recent.
for a little too much. I think you're reaching.
Okay. All
You're
right. What's
reaching.
next? What's next?
Nick Cannon. It's been a crazy couple days for him. Some reports came out that he made some anti-Semitic remarks. I know the internet has completely scrubbed like what he said. Like I think it was on his podcast. You can't find it anywhere, so we have not heard like the actual remarks. I've heard bits and pieces in terms of like what he said about white people like being savages and having to kind of take over. And I think some of the comments came from like him saying black people were the real Hebrews, and I think people got offended. And like I said, I don't want to take it too much out of context because we didn't hear
Yeah.
the full thing, but it led him to be in Viacom. CBS fired him from everything, like, which is insane. I think it's a little extreme. He said he's been talking to his Jewish brothers and sisters and his rabbis and all this stuff, and they're explaining to him why it's offensive. But it's crazy because haven't we as black people been explaining to people why stuff has been expensive, why stuff
That
has
part.
been
No.
offensive for the last like 100 years, but
Yeah.
nobody's listening until we start getting killed. So
Or
I
until
think
you
in
start
essence,
damaging. I was gonna say,
right,
or
and I
until you start damaging property. Like then
exactly.
they listen. Yeah.
And from what I understand, I think he was pretty much trying to say like, yo, Jews control everything, which I don't understand where the lie is, because especially in the music industry and TV industry, like that is true.
I, I I just find it odd, right? So we have newscasters who are supposed to be reporting facts on networks who can accost women, right? Who can make slanderous statements that aren't even true against former presidents, make up lies to support a current president, and be for rape culture in America, right?
Why y'all promoting beans right now?
Right. However, this is what we go back to about the lanes are always different for people of color, right? So we have to work harder, be smarter, outshine. We can't be exactly the same as our non-people of color counterparts. And this is a prime example of that. Nick Cannon made a misstep, right? He immediately from what, because again everything's been scrubbed, so we don't know, we can't tell per se exactly what was said, but he immediately rebutted some of the parts of what he said because again he was uninformed, right? And I
Yeah,
don't know
but initially he didn't apologize. He was like, "Look, I said what I said. You can't fire a boss. Like this is what it is. Give me my rights. I've been for the people. I've been doing stuff since I was 19. Like this morning, like midnight, he came out, or not this morning, but sometime like he came out with a response now, like apologizing, and it's
yeah
like I kind of sucked that I feel like he apologized, but I feel like he had to apologize in order to be able to get his rights for wilding out, to be able to move on, and so he wouldn't lose his job for the Masked Singer because that's
yeah
on a whole nother network. That's
yeah
my reason why I think he apologized.
and I think that again that goes back to the idea of how the lanes are different. Like it's just, we misstep, then everything has to be stricken, right? And that's something that has been a common practice for people of color in America, especially men of color in America. One misstep, one folly up, whether you play major sports, whether you for example, Colin Kaepernick, he kneeled, fired.
Shoot, Michael Vick. I mean,
I,
dogs. Granted, okay, I get it, but like they crucified
fired,
this
right?
man for
But
life.
but then we have someone who grabs women by the, you know what I'm saying, and he becomes president. So I just want you to understand like the difference in how we're treated. And then when and understood, like we are always black splaining to others who are people who are not of color.
What was that again, Darryl?
Black splaining. I mean, it's what we have to do, and then we have to do it humbly on top of that with a smile, like, it's really not, I don't feel comfortable when you want to touch my hair because it makes me feel like a dog, and
right.
you don't pet people, and the fact that I have to say that, like, is one of those things where it's just like, and we're in 2020 and that's still a thing. So it's like all of these, like, I understand, look, words hurt. We're not forgiving the behavior, we're not forgiving whatever the commentary might have been. However, in that moment, that's what he felt. And I think that if there was more context, that he maybe had not had the full picture, right? He's only speaking from his perspective as a person of color in America, right? Then that was the time for, as he said, as he's been talking to his Jewish friends and Jewish brothers, to like step up and be like, look, bro, that wasn't Nick,
Yeah, well, we're gonna keep.
We're praying for you. Diddy gave you an offer. I want you to stay. Diddy's right. Like, just like we take notes from the same community that fires you. They have a big tendency to also support within their community. So maybe you want to also
support
look
at
have people of color, fellow African Americans, have your back, and who have the platforms, and they'll make magic. Like that's what it's about. I shouldn't be that way, but that's what it's about.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, somebody else has struggled this week that came out. Now, this story took a crazy turn. So you heard Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez. What, a couple days ago, they were leaving, they were partying at the Kylie Jenner's house, and then reports came out that they had both gotten arrested because Tory had a gun in the car. Like, he got arrested for gun charges. Okay, that was the story. But then, like, little bits and pieces of stuff kept coming out. Then it was Megan suffered from a cut on her foot. And then it was, now Megan didn't get arrested. Now Tory, like it got really weird. So then a couple days ago, Megan tweeted and was like, or Instagram was like, look, I want to tell my side of the story. The reports that are out are not true. Somebody tried to harm me and I got shot in the foot and I had to go into surgery. So everybody was like, yo, like, so how did your cut in the foot turn into a whole, like, you had gunshot wounds? So now the internet has been like, yo, who shot Megan? Apparently what they're saying is that it was Tory who shot Megan because, like, she wanted to leave or something like that, because Megan's best friend had tweeted saying, like, yo, I was in the car. It wasn't me who shot her. And then a couple, like, Megan's producers and bodyguards are, like, alluding to things that, like, are looking like it's towards Tory. Like, one of her producers were like, Tory Lanez, you need to count your days, and your days are numbered, something like that. So yeah, I don't know. That story's crazy because they were like all buddy hanging out like for the last, like, during quarantine and hanging out, and now
So
this.
I don't. I'm like. I'm first off. Why a gun, Tory? Like, where are
I
we
mean, but
going?
people
I
drive
get
with
it,
guns in their car, like
and
just
I get
locked up.
it.
I mean, it's crazy
I'm
out here. I get
I'm from
that.
I'm from the South, you know. So Alabama roots, Virginia raised. So I
Yeah.
get it. Go to the range faithfully myself. I love the range. However, in my head, I'm like, I don't know. Like they have security. They have, you know, it's like one of those things. I think when you reach a certain status of celebrity, it's just smart to maybe have someone who's on your staff be the one with the gun or with the weapon, only
Megan's
because we've seen.
bodyguard said he was not with her that night. Like he made it clear that he was like, "Yo, never again." But yeah,
Yeah.
he wasn't with.
Why or how does a gun come out in the midst of a conversation with Megan Thee Stallion? Like, you know, like in my head, I'm like, the only gun I'm thinking about is the gun that. So I'm not understanding
Too
why.
much, Dale. Too
I'm
much.
like, why would that be? Like, why would we be like, you know,
I mean, maybe they
pull
were.
out a
Maybe
gun
I mean,
going off the gun? Like, like
I don't. I mean, I feel like okay, if they were just leaving Kylie Jenner's house, I'm sure some sort of alcohol was involved. And you know, when you're like drinking, you're just not in your right mind. And like maybe he was like waving around, playing, saying like, "Yo, I'm a." You know how people
I
do.
mean,
Like
I
have you
know,
ever? I've seen it. Like I've
I
literally
know,
been in
I
situations people be
know.
playing around with gun like that. I mean, that's not cool. But and then maybe he thought it wasn't loaded, and then it went off. Like I
But
don't
see, but
know.
the way she's, because I saw the same post that the way she said it, it didn't sound like an accidental oops. Because you know, like in a situation like that, most cases it's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's not a, we don't need to
Like
air it
damn,
out
we
in
were playing
public.
around. Like
Exactly,
yeah,
or it's like she would have kept it at the glass in the foot, you know, like she would just, that
right.
would have been the story. But she
Yeah.
was like, no, let's get the record straight. Like I was hurt, you know, like I was injured by it, and it was
And she
sounded
had to
like
go to surgery.
it sounded like she was slighted to some degree by whatever. Like, so this was not in a accidental, you know, we would just hang. It feels like it might have been some, maybe the alcohol, you know, encouraged the
Mm-hmm.
bad behavior. Like he was probably pissed or something. But again,
Mm-hmm.
this is where I go back to like, bruh, like a gun, like
Like
what?
anything but. And
Yeah,
then they
like,
showed footage of her like walking out the cop car. I mean, not out the cop, walking out the car, and like her bloody foot is like leaving bloody like footprints on the ground. And it's just like this is crazy. But not only like I think she said it was an eye opening situation for her. I'm like, I bet it was. Like this is your
yeah,
career. Like you on top right now. That joint
yeah.
could have ended tragically.
We got to think about who we travel around, who's in our circle. I mean, and this is not a jab at Tory. Maybe he was just, you know, because he is short, right? He's like 5'5".
Yo, his police report said 5'3" and 120 pounds. I was like,
All my
okay.
fellas and ladies who are 5'3", no, nothing wrong with that. You know, my grandmom's in that same category, but I
But
still
that's your
thought that
grandma, Darryl. Like, come
moment of
on.
silence. Let's just keep it moving. I
You
didn't say
compare
it.
your grandma to Tory Lane? What?
See, this is probably why now he got a
Grandma,
conflict.
please don't
Why he
listen
busting
to
out guns?
any of
See,
the songs
I
that
like.
Tory Lane has. Like, everybody isn't here to, like, support you and be on your side. Like, some people are just befriending you for ulterior motives. And that's a
Very,
lesson for all y'all kids, for real.
very true. Not to say that we've lived a little bit, but kids, we've lived a little
We know what's
bit.
up. All right, Darryl, our word of the week, our motivation. What you got for the people this week?
I'm going to go with strength. I feel like, you know, not only do these two individuals need to really be strong in this moment and sort of like muster up the strength and courage to push through, but I feel like us in general, America, we need in this moment to be strong and to be absolute and to so low key be unwavering, right? To continue to press forward. And I think in that, we'll continue to see ourselves elevate. So what
Okay.
about you? What about you?
All right, so
What
mine kind of goes along with yours. I'm going to go with endurance. I
oh,
think you cannot have strength without endurance. Everything that you want in life is not, just easily attainable, and it's not for the faint of heart. So you have to endure some things to really get to what it is that you want. And you got to have endurance in order to have the strength to go the long haul. So that's
okay,
my
okay.
word. Endurance will carry you when you just like when
That's
you're
so true.
done.
That's so true.
Endurance will, I feel like endurance is more mental and the
I would
strength is more like that
physical.
physical.
I would so
Yes.
agree.
Cheers in my water.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I thought that was vodka straight up.
I know, I don't drink no vodka straight up.
I'm talking about myself. This is Hendrix.
Exactly.
but ain't wrong with a little bit.
Oh, Lord. All right, Darryl. Thanks, guys, for
Okay.
watching. We'll see y'all next time.